This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. SpaceX launches 3 satellites into space that could change the future of the internet. Millennials are becoming more creative with a new way to pop the question.
Hello, and welcome to Matador News. I'm Bridgette Creamer.
And I'm Brian Berumen. National Rifle Association CEO Wayne LaPierre gave a speech today framing the gun control debate as a battle for individual freedoms. He spoke today at the Conservative Political Action Conference near Washington. He accused Democrats of using the Florida shooting as an opportunity to push a socialist agenda.
Their solution is to make you, all of you, less free.
LaPierre says conservatives should be frightened of a Democratic takeover of Congress and the White House.
President Trump listened to victims of school shootings tell their stories last night at the White House and this morning tweeted out his own solution to the gun control debate. He says he supports raising the age to buy an assault rifle to 21. Right now, federal law is 21 years old to buy a handgun, but only 18 to buy an assault rifle, like the one used in the Florida shooting. Trump also says he supports having armed and trained teachers in schools.
Senator Marco Rubio met with a crowd of Florida residents, including students and parents, in a CNN town hall meeting. The crowd asked Rubio, 2 congressmen, and an NRA representative questions centered around the shooting in Florida.
Why do we have to be the ones to do this? Why do we have to speak out to the Capitol? Why do we have to march on Washington just to save innocent lives?
Rubio says he would support raising the age for the purchase of assault weapons. He also says he would reconsider banning high-capacity magazines for ammunition. He says smaller magazines could save lives during a shooting with fewer bullets available in each magazine.
President Trump met with state and local officials in the White House this morning to hear what they think should be done to improve school safety. He again said that background checks need to be improved, among other changes.
We're going to work on getting the age up to 21 instead of 18. We're getting rid of the bump stocks, and we're going to be focusing very strongly on mental health.
Trump said again that the idea of schools as a gun-free zone needs to be reconsidered. He called the shooter a sicko and said that schools needed to be hardened up.
President Trump says that teachers should have concealed weapons in the classroom. Here's Matador News reporter Zaira Garcia with more on the story.
President Trump says teachers with concealed guns could end attacks quickly in schools. He says 20% of teachers can go through military or special training to have these guns. CSUN Criminology and Justice Studies professor James Ballard says it's not a good idea to add guns on campuses.
I would be nervous with more people having more guns. I think the students would likewise feel it. They come here for an education. We come here to teach and help them learn how to solve problems. Adding guns to that mix, especially in classes with controversial topics where people get a little heated, really inappropriate.
We asked CSUN students how they felt about teachers having concealed guns in the classrooms.
I don't think teachers should have guns in their classrooms because they could take advantage of that power that they have and they could use it against students in a negative way.
I think that if teachers walked around with guns openly, it would cause more fear than creating a sense of safety in students.
Trump also says that other solutions include more mental institutions and hospitals, in addition to the idea of arming teachers. Now let's go back to the studio with Bridgette.
Russian warplanes continue to hit the rebel enclave near the Syrian capital for the 5th straight day. More than 335 people have been killed in the attack since Sunday. 13 of them were killed this morning by Russian jets involved in bombing. Aid agencies are begging for ceasefire so they can reach eastern Ghouta and help the more than 1,200 injured. UN Secretary Antonio Guterres also demanded the immediate halt of all war activities in the rebel enclave, which he called hell on earth. Bombs are being dropped on all marketplaces and medical centers, leaving civilians with no place to go.
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Deputy Giancarlo Scotti faces 7 years in prison for sexually assaulting female inmates. He's accused of having unlawful sex with 6 inmates at the Century Regional Detention Facility in Linwood between March and September 2017. In one account, he forced 2 inmates to give him oral sex and then raped them in the shower.
3 different schools in Long Beach have been threatened since the massacre in Florida. A 16-year-old from Wilson High School and a 15-year-old from Millicon High School have been arrested after students reported threats they overheard from them. Another threat was made at Long Beach Polytechnic High School. Superintendent Chris Steinhauser said there is no evidence all 3 school threats are related. According to Educators School Safety Network, since last week's shooting in Florida, the number of threats of school shootings have increased to about 50 a day.
SpaceX launched 3 satellites this morning, 2 of which could provide internet to places it's never been before. The satellite will orbit 700 miles above the Earth to be the start of a network of satellites. The network will send connections up and down to provide high-speed internet to people in unconnected areas. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk hopes this idea will serve the least served. The 3rd satellite, called PAZ, will provide incredibly detailed radar views of Earth.
Technology companies are helping to lift the stock market today. Technology companies rose almost 2%. At last check, the Dow Jones average was up more than 200 points. With all the sexual accusations sweeping Hollywood, insurance companies are considering creating new policies to cover celebrity scandals. The issue is bringing filmmakers many problems, and they are losing millions of dollars. Scandals such as the allegations against House of Cards actor Kevin Spacey cost Netflix $39 million. A standard insurance package usually covers travel, terrorism and war, and now it will include sexual assault. And now, let's go to Jade for sports.
Thank you, Kim. In the women's gold medal game, Team USA hockey celebrated after defeating Canada in overtime during the penalty shootout. Team USA won the shootout 3-2 with forward Jocelyn Lamoureux Davison scoring the winning goal. To push the game into overtime, Jocelyn twin Monica Lamoureux Miranda scored an incredible shot late in the 3rd period. This is the 3rd time the 2 teams have met in the Olympic finals, but the U.S. women's hockey team hasn't won gold since 1998 Winter Olympics in Japan. The city of Inglewood published an environmental impact report on the future of the Los Angeles Clippers arena complex. The complex would have a practice facility, medicine clinic, team offices, retail space, and the outdoor plaza. Project manager Chris Meany said he looks forward to engaging residents and stakeholders to Inglewood and his project. The Clippers owner Steve Ballmer says he wants his own arena to improve the fan experience and not to be stuck with the 3rd pick of dates behind the Lakers and the Kings. The Clippers' lease at Staples Center ends in 2024. At the time, it seemed like a good idea for former head coach Rick Pitino to get a Louisville back tattoo, honoring the 2013 national championship. Pitino promised his former players in the middle of the season that if they won the NCAA championship, he would get a Louisville logo with the team's record tattooed on his left shoulder. The problem is the NCAA vacated all Louisville's win from that season, along with the national championship, and Pitino has been fired after allegations he and his staff recruited and hired strippers. And now, let's go back to Kim with entertainment news.
Thank you, Jade. Academy Award-winning actress Jennifer Lawrence is taking a break from acting to focus on becoming a political activist. She says she will be joining the nonprofit anti-corruption organization Represent Us. Lawrence says she believes it is important for millennials to be politically engaged on a local level. Lawrence representative explains she will return to acting as soon as one of her 7 projects starts production. Those projects include a film with comedian Amy Schumer and Ron Howard's upcoming movie about 1920s writer and artist Zelda Fitzgerald. The latest trend in proposing is with an avocado. Millennials are taking to Instagram their avocado proposal using #AvocadoProposal. The ring is embedded inside the avocado. This trend is common among hippies and vegans. This is a vegan act of romance. Some are even engraving the exterior of the avocado with messages like, "Will you marry me?" Avocados are now becoming wedding favors as well. Sony Pictures and the Peter Rabbit filmmakers are under fire for minimizing food allergies. In the film, Peter Rabbit uses blackberries as a weapon against his nemesis character, Tom McGregor. The McGregor character is allergic to blackberries and attempts to inject himself with an EpiPen while failing to the ground after swallowing a blackberry. A group called Kids with Food Allergies wrote a letter to Sony saying they were insensitive for normalizing this issue. A Change.org petition was also started which brought more than 10,000 signatures. Sony and the filmmakers have since then apologized to their audience and say they regret not being more aware on the issue. And now let's go back to Jade with news on health.
Hepatitis B vaccines have been included in childhood shots for decades. Now a federal advisory panel recommends a new adult vaccine against hepatitis B. It is given two shots over a month period. Experts hope a new vaccine would improve vaccination rates because people will only have to go to the doctor twice. The hepatitis B virus can damage the liver and can spread through contact with blood. Researchers say suicide is the second leading cause amongst college students, but not many universities are keeping track. CSUN is one university that does not record suicide rates to protect the privacy of its students. CSUN's director of counseling says records are confidential. CSUN provides counseling for students coping with mental health or depression. But without statistics, it is hard for researchers to know whether these programs have helped increase or decrease suicides. Liberal groups are fighting for a universal health care plan based on Medicare. Medicare Extra for All was proposed by the Center American Progress. Center President Neera Tanden says universal coverage is right. The cost of the new plan will be determined by the people's income. Flu season is here, and many CSUN students are taking precaution to prevent getting sick. Katelyn Von Meter has the latest news in the newsroom.
Flu season is continuing to affect many people across school campuses. Flu vaccine shots are being recommended to prevent students from catching the virus. Most flu students' shots protect against 3 to 4 flu viruses. Some students say vaccines work and others disagree.
I think that it can help, maybe not maybe cure it, but minimize it somewhat.
I actually don't. I think that it is just going to cause you to get it's going to actually cause you to get the flu. Just from research that I've seen, a lot of people that end up getting the flu vaccine end up getting sick.
Many CSUN students have their own ways to prevent themselves from getting the flu.
I mean, I wash my hands, so I think that's a good idea. Everybody needs to cover their mouths, when you sneeze, cough, wash your hands after. If you got it all over your hands, there are better ways to cover your mouth than, with your hand. You can do it in your elbow, inside your shirt, and that avoids spreading it out into the air.
As an athlete, we're completely active a lot of the times. We also eat very well. We're pretty drained from practice, things like that, so we get a good amount of sleep. I think those are some of the ways you can prevent getting sick, things like that.
The flu is expected to continue. CSUN Health Center advises students to be alert with this virus still going around the campus. And now let's go back to Bridgette for more news.
Some Tulsa, Oklahoma families are reunited with their missing dogs. They were found in the home of a trusted dog trainer. More than 100 dogs and several other animals were stacked in crates. It's the largest animal cruelty case ever in Tulsa County. The dogs had been initially given to the man for behavior training. The dogs rescued have been matched up with their families and will go back to their homes as soon as possible.
Get your sweaters out because it's going to be cold for the rest of the week with a 30% chance of rain in the valley. Skies are partly cloudy right now and it's about 60 degrees. Expect temperatures in the high 50s during the day and a low of 30s overnight. Mountains will see about 1 to 2 inches of snow. Beach areas will be cloudy with temperatures of the high 50s and low 40s overnight. Desert areas will be chilly with a chance of rainfall. Highs will be in the 50s during the day and lows of 30s overnight.
Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Bridgette Creamer.
I'm Kimberly Gonzalez.
I'm Jade Davis.
And I'm Brian Berumen.